So a few weeks ago, Trump signed an executive order to cut federal funding for libraries and museums nationwide. Yes, libraries. Those dangerous leftist training centers where you can read for free and learn about things like science and history, and how to make a resume when capitalism eats your job. Apparently that's too radical now. DOGE has decided that libraries are a waste of taxpayer money, which ironically is the one place your taxes actually do something useful. So naturally, as an evil con man would do, Trump took one look at libraries, the places that provide literacy services, where you can read for free and offer countless community programs to needy communities, and he said, nah, let's defund that shit. Trump has reminded us that we are living in a fever dream. Like I said, he signed an executive order to slash funding for the IMLS, which is the Institute of Museum and Library Services. So the IMLS funds programs and research for thousands of community libraries throughout the country. Here is what some of that money funds. Here are some of the woke and hazardous things that local libraries do. They obviously offer vast collections of books, audiobooks, and other digital resources. They provide free access to computers and to the internet for many community members. They provide literacy programs to improve reading and writing skills, especially for children and marginalized adults. They provide after-school programs for students in low-income, underfunded school districts. They offer adult programs, book clubs, crafts, and story time for young children. They offer language classes and computer classes. They offer meeting rooms for community groups and events. They put on community events that bring the local community together. They do job search assistance, and many local libraries offer all types of support for seniors and for other vulnerable populations. And I could list 100 more services that they do, but here's the bottom line. Libraries play a crucial role in communities by providing access to so many key resources that support learning. They help poor families, they're a refuge for kids, they connect people with jobs, healthcare info, tax help, all the shit that the government says that it cares about, but never actually funds. But according to the geniuses in the Trump administration, these programs are just government bloat. To billionaires like Trump and Musk, the sight of seeing a poor person receive free services at a library makes them gag. Not unlike Melania when she has to hold Trump's hand for a photo op. Libraries have been caught in the crossfire of the conservative culture war for years. Remember in Tennessee when they tried to ban the book Mouse? Because apparently, learning about the Holocaust makes old Southern men feel guilty about their father's participation in the KKK. In rural America, libraries are the only place with free internet. In poor neighborhoods, they're safe spaces for kids after school, places where people learn English, search for jobs, get tax help, find community. This attack on libraries is not just about money. It's about control. It's about gatekeeping knowledge. It's about dismantling one of the very few remaining public goods that isn't yet behind a paywall that's owned by Bezos or Zuckerberg or Musk. Now, MAGA conservatives might say, surely DOGE has a good reason for cutting library funding. According to DOGE's recent memo, libraries are duplicative, outdated, and better handled by the private sector. I'm not kidding, that's literally what it says. The translation to that stupid-ass statement is, let Amazon run your education. Let Comcast sell you Wi-Fi for $400 a month. And let your local church decide what counts as approved reading or approved books. This isn't about trimming the fat on the budget. It's about starving public services until they collapse and then selling off the bones to the highest bidder in the private sector. So you guys know this, and I've already covered it in other videos, but we know that DOGE isn't actually making the government more efficient. So what does DOGE actually do? Like I said, they say that they're trimming inefficient government services, but translation, they're cutting any agency that helps people who don't own yachts. It's so funny how caught up MAGA is on this efficiency thing. Like, oh, this is all about efficiency. It's all about government efficiency. Sure. Just like I efficiently blocked my ex's number instead of going to therapy, right? Actually, I figured it out. I know why Trump and Musk want to defund public libraries. It's because libraries are suspiciously socialist. They're free, communal, full of knowledge, and nobody makes you watch ads before reading a book. So naturally, it had to be cut. They had to go. I want to go back to the efficiency thing for a second. So last year, the federal government sent just under $300 million to the IMLS. $300 million. That's it, bro. That's a fraction of a percent of the federal budget. Last year was like $7 trillion or something was this federal spending. So it's a fraction of a percent of our national budget. And yet it provides so many foundational services to thousands of communities nationwide. Ironically, it might actually be the most efficient agency because it costs so little but provides so much for so many communities. The Trump regime has gone full-on comic book villain mode, so all looks dark and glam. However, what can you do? What can we do about this? Here's a call to action. Here's what we can do. Obviously, you can call your local and state representatives and tell them that the defunding of these programs for museums and libraries is not only unnecessary, but it's damaging. You can support your local library, donate to them or volunteer, show up to school board meetings. That's very important. We got to continue pushing back on censorship bills. And obviously, this is a big one, very underrated. Vote in your local elections. God, so many people they only vote if it's like a statewide election or if it's obviously a federal or like a presidential election. Vote local. Please participate in your local elections. The only thing I can say now is to repeat that I feel like we're living in a fever dream, right? President of the United States is receiving direction from the world's richest robber baron to cut federal funding for libraries. Like, I've used my public library so many times when I need to print something off, times when I didn't have a computer, I would go there and use their computers for things. My local library has hotspots, like Wi-Fi hotspots that you can check out just like a book. You can bring it home and you can use it for internet. There's been times when I haven't had access to internet at home. And like I said earlier, I listed so many essential services that local libraries do. And now that funding's being cut for the IMLS, which is the agency that sends millions, hundreds of millions of dollars across the country to fund projects, research and development, essential programs for underdeveloped communities, to build the community and to help the people thrive. I don't know. It's terrifying, man. I just can't express it any other way. But there are some things we can do to fight back. Call your local and state rep, support your local library, vote in local elections. And yeah, I hope things get better. This is a really dark time.